It's good to see everyone this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, now in the hands of our Assistant Clerk, Ms. Lana.
This is the pre-meeting of the Mobile City Council, Tuesday, December 17th. We have approval of minutes from December 10th.
Any issue, anyone? Okay.
Appeals, we have requests for waivers of the noise ordinance on Westwood Street on December 23rd from 5:30 until 9 p.m. At 105 Williams Court on January 1st from 12 until 4 p.m. At the Mobile Carnival Museum on December 27th from 7 till 12 a.m. And on Ashley Drive on December 22nd from 5 p.m. until 7 p.m.
Any issues?
No issues in District 1.
Placement of this one.
Okay.
Public hearings. Today is the public hearing to consider the application of Salute MedTrans to operate a non-emergency medical transport service, and to consider assenting to the vacation of a portion of an alley adjacent to property located at Dolphin Heights and Upham Street. Presentation of petitions and other communications to the council. Sabrina Mass, Housing, Nonprofits, and Public Safety. Charlotte Stutz introduced the Mob City Volleyball Club. Apostle Valenia Green, homeless situation in Mobile, and Reverend Ray Bourne will also speak to the homeless situation in Mobile. Reggie Hill, Public Safety, Civic Center, Contracts, Budgeting, Settlements and Release of Claims, and Formal Responses with Taxpayers. Ordinances held over. 28062, ordinance to amend Chapter 28, Housing, Article 5, Residential Code, Section 28 through 52 of the Mobile City Code. 64-063, consider rezoning property located at 2660 Old Shell Road from R1 and B2 to B2. 64064, consider rezoning property located at 674 Western Drive from B1 to B3. 88065, authorize the conveyance of city-owned land located on Shelton Beach Road Extension, which is not now needed for public or municipal purposes.
Mr. President?
Yeah, Ms. Greer.
I had gotten a text from one of my constituents. He just had some questions about the land and exactly what the project and program was going to be. And I sent those questions to Mr. Lasky, and he answered me. But I was wondering, since we're voting on this today, if Rob, you wouldn't mind providing that information again before we vote today in the auditorium.
In the auditorium.
In the museum.
At the
In the
I'm sorry.
museum.
Yes. At
So
the museum.
you want it done there or here? Because we won't, I don't think it's televised over there, is it?
Well, we can do it maybe both places.
All right, that's fine.
But
Do it.
definitely here. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the main, and Rob's got it, but some of the questions were just about the number of homeless people who might be helped and whether or not they would see an influx of people maybe coming into town because of the resources that would be provided there. Also, the experience that the RAIN Group has in providing this type of service. Let's see what else.
I've pulled up.
Those are the main things.
I pulled up. So again, the constituent was worried that the RAIN Group or this resource center was going to attract or have the RAIN Group advertised.
I think you just turned it off. Yeah.
To bring in additional homeless people. We don't believe that's so. The RAIN Group, its founder is from Mobile. That individual is dedicated to improving the life of the citizens of Mobile. And it's not only going to be a homeless shelter, they're also going to address the economic disadvantaged in the resource center, potentially veterans, mental health, people with mental health concerns, and that's such. So it's not going to be just for the homeless. It's a resource center for all of the citizens of Mobile to be used as, economic resource center. They were worried about the fact that the registered agent was in Daphne. That has been changed. They registered the 501c3 with the state of Alabama last week. The center for that, or the registration, is in the middle of Mobile, It's in one of the founders' buildings. I'm trying to think what else. And does this another question was why the RAIN Group does this 501c3 have the capability to do it? Out of all the 501c3s that we've been talking to with respect to homeless, the individuals that the RAIN Group have brought have impeccable credentials, both from law enforcement, both from civic organizations. They have tremendous financial backing through their board and their founder, and we have every confidence in them that they will be able to do what they want to do. If they don't, there is a reversion clause in the contract that the city will get back the land if they can't accomplish their goals.
And I think one thing too, to remind everybody about is that with this program, they'll be bringing in local business partners for training opportunities so that people that come to the resource center will be able to get skills so that they can go into the workforce. So I think that's another very positive thing about the program itself.
Absolutely. Also being local service providers, the people that help the homeless, they want to partner with existing service providers. One of the ideas is that after the shelters close at night, that they can bring them over to the resource center during the day. That also give them some place to go and receive help during the day, not just at night at the shelters.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Madam Clerk?
Consent resolutions held over. 40972, declare the structure at 1302 Flicker Court a public nuisance and order it demolished.
Good morning, Mr. President. I've got an update for you at this location. We were here about 60 days ago and the owner wanted to get a permit to repair. Regretfully, he has not. There's been no permit application. The house is still in the same condition, which is burned. The roof has collapsed and the exterior wall in the back has collapsed. And I do recommend we move forward and declare it a public nuisance.
All right, thank you, Mr. Doppelbaum. Madam Clerk?
Resolutions held over. 01-1217, authorize intergovernmental agreement with Alabama Department of Environmental Management for environmental enforcement and management. 03-1218 and 1219 are appointing Peters Dre and Ivy Thompson to the Mobile Historic Development Commission. 08-1220, approved purchase order to Emergency Equipment Professional for annual maintenance for fire apparatuses. 08-1221, approved purchase order to GT Distributors of Georgia for Glock pistols. 08-1222, approved purchase order to Gwynn Stationery and Engraving for printing and mailing of annual business license renewals. 08-1223, approved purchase order to Hardy Chevrolet Buick GMC for Chevrolet Tahoe SUVs.
Go ahead. Question here. $3.6 million. I missed this last week and didn't say anything on new Tahoes and SUVs for the police department. You know, I never saw the list of inventory of what we had, and I think the council asked for that, in the first year down here? And I don't think it's been 3 years since we ordered a ton of SUVs and Tahoes then. And this is a huge expenditure. And when I look up this company, they're actually out of Texas. So we're not even spending our money locally. We're spending our money in a whole nother state. So what's going on right here?
Yeah, this is a state bid contract that we jump on, and the problem is a lot of times we're not first priority. So a lot of the times that we do a bid, it gets kicked out and we don't get the vehicles. So we take them when we can get them, but it's a state bid contract.
Meaning, define state bid. I mean, a lot of bids are state bid. Define the necessity of state bid.
The state puts out the bid, who can provide these Tahoes at what price, and anybody in the state can join on that contract.
So you're saying that the state put out a bid for the city of Mobile?
No, the state put on a bill for the entire state. So in the procurement world, there's bid lists and contracts and co-ops where you get approved that they put it out. There's maybe 100 people put in for them, and the state verifies that these bids have gone through the records of process, and you can purchase off that contract.
So somebody else has a capacity contract that we're purchasing $3.6 million in cars from.
The state does, yes.
So why are we purchasing $3.6 million in cars when, I mean, I'm just asking. It wasn't 2 years ago that we asked for an inventory list and we just went through a rotation of purchases. So, I mean, this seems, how many cars? Let's see, 50, let's just say 6,000. So we're talking about 35, 40 cars at $70,000 plus the refit that it cost us.
So first of all, there's not a vehicle in our fleet that gets more wear and tear use and is more susceptible to damage than the police department's vehicles. They're constantly in motion. They get hit, they get in accidents, and they take a tremendous amount of wear and tear. And we do have a rotational, I think it's a 5-year rotational policy, but a lot of times they don't get that. Roughly right now, I think anytime we're down about 15 to 20% of vehicles because of accidents, maintenance, road repair, things of that nature. And the problem is we have not gotten caught up from COVID. We are still behind the 8 ball with respect to receiving our regular allotment of cars.
I don't know if I want to agree with that based on the conversations we've had since I've been back in office since 21. We've been purchasing cars even before you got here. So my question again is where's the inventory list and where's the rotation list based on the inventory list that you guys were supposed to provide to us? This is a big number. And the reason why it's a big number to me is because we've got, next 3 years are going to be extremely difficult. And this is a large expenditure that may be able to wait a year or two or whatever. I mean, we're outlaying a lot of money right here. It's not a small amount. So say again, I heard somebody say it takes 2 years to get in the background. So do we even have this money in the budget?
Yes, we do.
So this money was pre-budgeted.
Yes, it is.
All right. I mean, there's going to come a time when every large expenditure like this on the agenda is going to get questioned because of where we're headed. Now, this is a large expenditure.
Let me get you the inventory, the older inventory. Right now, Shauna's going through trying to update the inventory of all our rolling stock, and she should have that in January, but I'll get you the old one. The other thing is we budget these cars on an accrual basis. So there's a rent charge to each one so that we have the money when it's ready to replace them. So you'll see cars going out that are being taken offline and when these new ones come in.
I remember those conversations, but based on this number, if you're telling me that are we going to go write a check one time for $3.6 million and wait on the cars to come in is what you're telling me?
We have to have the money in place before they'll even begin on the cars. They also have to be upfitted as well.
All right.
Okay. Ms. Gregory?
Yeah, it seems like I remember a conversation about how difficult it is to get these vehicles. And that's one of the reasons that we go ahead and order and get them when we can. And I understand the whole state bid law thing because we do a lot of things off the state bid law to get better pricing. But wasn't that part of the argument that it just takes a while to get the vehicles and you get them when you can?
It does.
sort of a
And
thing?
what Ms. Smith said is exactly correct. Once we order a vehicle, it's anywhere from 18 months to 2 years before it actually gets in service.
One more comment. These are specialty Tahoes. They're not stock Tahoes. They're police package Tahoes. They won't even begin to build them until they know how many everybody wants. And I'm talking about Chevrolet.
The upfit happens after the purchase.
After we receive them.
Yeah,
the
after we
upfit.
receive them, then the upfit. So is this just the cost of purchase or is this the cost of purchase plus the upfit?
This is just the purchase.
So then there's another cost for the upfit that we don't even see yet.
About $10,000 per vehicle.
And we're talking, I mean, I was wrong in the math. It's about 60 cars we're talking about. So we're talking another $600,000 after we get the vehicles in.
That's probably correct.
You'll see that the last upfitting charge did come through council.
President.
Hold on, Ms. Gregory, you finished?
Oh, yeah. I'm finished.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yeah.
Councilman Dave's not here. We would hear his regularly stated speech about one time in the city where, the floors of our vehicles, our first responders were rusted out and they had 300,000 miles, and the fact that he did this ride around, this, that, and the other. And, it is true that we are going to take on some additional debt and expense associated with that debt coming in. And there may be some things we do need to tighten our belt on. But I think history has shown, throughout this city that we can't negate these sort of purchases and renewal of our fleet on a routine basis. So if it comes a time where we do need to tighten our belt, you know, I don't think this is the first place we look to, you know, try to cut money.
Mr.
Although we
President,
ought to be
Hold on,
very
Mr. Chair.
efficient in our purchases and that sort of thing, but we can't leave them without.
Mr. President, at no time did I say cut, stop, or not do. I don't think I used those words. And I wouldn't take the right equipment away from the police department at any time. What I am simply suggesting is that timing is everything, knowing what we're walking into. And I've been around a while now. Even though I wasn't here the past 8 years, I've seen a lot happen. And when you take on a major issue like we're about to take on, things tend to swell. Costs swell, things change, additional cost shows up. So everything we need do from this point forward needs to be taken very seriously and taking a very good look at how we do it, when we do it, because timing is very important. And I'm not saying that this administration hasn't, because like I told you before, I think we've done a lot of great things, and they've done a lot of great things before I've gotten back. But I need to be extremely clear here. I mean, going forward, we don't know what we're looking at. And even after we get the pony bought, we don't know what type of saddle we're going to put on it. So all I'm saying is we need to really take a good look at what we're doing.
All right,
Thank you, Mr. President.
Madam Clerk.
08-1224, approved purchase order to Hughes Companies for limestone for Hertel Street parking lot. 08-1225, approved purchase order to Magnuson Group for waste cans for the convention center. 08-1226, approved purchase order to Toomey's Mardi Gras Candy Company for moon pies and beads for Mardi Gras. 09-1227, reallocate capital project funding to projects in the 2025 capital plan. 09-1228, transfer funds from grant match holding account to capital project CIP Parks Taylor Park. 09-1229, amend the general fund by increasing interest earned on idle funds and investments, increasing transfers out, and increase transfers in from the general fund to the capital fund. 13-1230, authorize change order number 2 with Sabre Demolition Corporation for Civic Center new construction and demo. 21-1231, authorize addendum 1 to contract with Axon Fusus. 21-1232, authorize contract with Butler Complete Services for landscaping services at various city locations. 21-1233, authorize contract with McCrory and Williams for 2024 TAP downtown sidewalk improvements. Ordinance is being introduced, 01066, ordinance to amend the City of Mobile, Alabama Municipal Code to establish the general fund reserves. Consent resolutions being introduced, 58, 1236, 1237, and 1238 are declaring weeds noxious, Weedling Group 1662, assessing cost for removal of weeds, Repeat Weedling Group 81, and Weedling Group 1660. 60, 1239, and 1240 are approving award of special bonus to the firefighter and officer of the month. 60, 1241 through 1246 determine appropriations to Mobile Law Enforcement Foundation, Housing First, and CC's Classic Catering and United Way of Southwest Alabama serve a public purpose and approve payment. CIP resolutions being introduced. 13-1247, authorized change order number 2 with Parton Smith for asphalt work at Westside Park, $151,342.61. 21-1248, authorized contract with Jaguar Consulting for Westside Park Ball Field and parking lighting improvements, $69,000.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Woods.
I just want to take a moment and just say thank you. I know that Parks and Rec's been working really hard on that. This was one of the things that, tasked with what's one of the projects that you want to see accomplished quick, fast, in a hurry. I just want to say thanks for jumping on the West Side Park. And I know they're very appreciative, and it's really going to be nice afterwards. So that's it.
Madam Clerk.
Resolutions being introduced, 01-1249, authorized agreement with PM Group for strategic communication services. 04-1250, authorized Civic Center financing bonds reimbursement. 08-1251, approve purchase order to K&K Systems for LED signboards for public services, $20,171.24. 08-1252, approve purchase order to North American Fire Equipment Company for variable speed positive pressure fans for Mobile Fire and Rescue Department, $40,106.08. 08-1253, approve purchase order to Stans Incorporated for annual renewal of Monday.com software for Mobile Police Department, $73,242. 08-1254, approve purchase order to Thompson Tractor Company for standby generator for Mobile Police Department, $69,395. 08-1255, approve purchase order to Whisper Cool for portable air conditioning and heating unit for the tennis center, $41,350. 21-1256, authorized contract with Mary Ann Merchant for 2025 municipal election. 31-1257, authorize the mayor to apply, accept, and receive a grant from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security for fiscal year 24 Assistance to Firefighters Grant, $871,144.74. There is a 10% local match. 37-1258, consider the application of Salute MedTrans to operate a non-emergency medical transport service. 40-1259, authorize the sale of city-owned property located at 76 Beauregard Street, not now needed for public or municipal purposes.
Mr. President,
Mr. Carroll.
this property, I think that's the old Southern building. We have a buyer is what we're saying?
No, sir, it's never been. So this was acquired in 2003 by grant
Uh-huh.
funding. So the grant requires a resolution declaring that it can be sold, and then the grant would either be repaid or whatever formula they use.
Is there someone interested in buying the building
Not that I know of, it's just on the top 10 list for us to tackle.
to tackle? I mean, that's a gorgeous old building. I mean, I wonder whoever buys it, if they're,
There's some parking, but it's got the Norfolk Southern, it's
yeah,
not in
I'm
the
very
historic
familiar with the
district.
building. I remember being halfway underwater in 1979. So, I mean, it's a very, very, very nice building. I was just concerned about it being torn down instead of restored.
We would like to sell that property,
Uh-huh.
but in order to sell it, we've got to first have this resolution.
Mhm.
Then we may have to pay back the grant, and it's not that much money, but in order to put it on the market. Otherwise, it will sit there and fall down and we'll still be owning it. And so these are just checks or steps that we've got to take in order to do that. We don't have a buyer, but we think if we clean everything up so that we can sell it, that we will be able to sell it.
Clerk.
40-1260, accept deed for right-of-way and permanent drainage easement on Parkway Drive for the 2024 CIP resurfacing project. 47-1261, consider assenting to the vacation of a portion of an alley adjacent to property located at Dolphin Heights and Upham Street. 47-1262, consider a vacation fee as a condition of the vacation at Dolphin Heights and Upham Street, $5,737.97. 60-1263, authorized settlement agreement and release of claims. Announcements.
Mr.
Hey.
President.
Hi, I was here on the vacation fee. I've got some handouts and I can meet with y'all independently after the pre-council if you'd like. We would like to, on behalf of the family, we'd like to request that the fee be waived.
Yes, that's in my particular district, and I support it.
All right.
Was the waiver of the fee on the agenda?
Yes.
Mr. President,
Ms. Woods.
going back to 31-1257, I think the administration had talked to me this morning at least about, I think this is something that they want to try to get accomplished due to a timing with the calendar year. And I think it's for obviously a 10% match. It's also for, I guess, things that shock you whenever you're having a heart attack.
This is a grant that the deadline is Friday.
Oh, yeah, and we're not meeting next
This is a
week,
grant that
so-
the deadline is Friday. We need to get the grant application in. It's 817,000, 10% local match. It's for Lucas machines, cardiopulmonary resuscitation machines for the fire department and the rescue.
Council, anyone have any issues?
No,
$7,000.
and since we're not meeting next week, so,
All right.
yeah.
Mr. President, I have a
That's fine.
question about the PM Group Strategic Communication Services. Can somebody tell me what this is for?
Basically, it's with the PM group, and they help us with our messaging and our communication strategy for all of public safety. They work with both the police, the fire department, and public safety to work about communication and how to roll it out and how to be most effective with our communication.
How much is this contract for?
That's how to work.
To look at it, but
Yeah.
it's not just for PD, it's also my understanding that it's for all the departments that may need to use it. But we can pull that amount if needed.
And this will be like a campaign that's going to be kicked off, or is this just
This is just.
ordinary communication?
Continuing on.
I'm just trying to understand what the usefulness of this is.
Just like Director Lasky just mentioned, it's pretty much to help with the communication strategies. He's been working with, or PM Group has been working with the police department extensively. So anytime we have an issue with that sort of issue, we will engage PM Group for that, as well as any other departments that may have that sort of issue too. So it's just strategic communications, but if you need that specific number, I can get that before the meeting.
No, this is first read. I can look the number up. Just one.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Vice President.
Yeah, if we can go back to 03-1219, resolutions held over, the appointment to the Historic Development Commission. We had received an email last week with some questions about experience and that sort of thing. And I know Bruce is here and he can provide insight as to this particular appointment.
Thank you. Bruce McGowan, I'm the attorney for the MHTC and the ARB. The two appointments the mayor has nominated are both qualified to hold these positions under the ordinance as well as with their experience. One of the applicants or nominees is an at-large applicant, of which there are 6. There are 7 others that have to live in a historic district. The at-large applicant is a former member of the MHDC, was there from 2017 on forward, and spent a lot of her time working on that project. She's the president of the Mobile Area Realtors Association and is fully qualified for this spot. The other nominee is Peter Stray. He is a resident of Datani and therefore qualifies as a resident of that district under the ordinance to be appointed to the MHDC. And he was nominated by at least 3 different organizations who the mayor has to consult. Friends of the MHDC, the Oakley Garden District, Lion Cough Historic, and Tiny Square. And like I say, I delivered an opinion letter to that effect. So, we would appreciate consideration. They're both good people, and they attend our meetings regularly and provide good input. Thank you.
Anyone else from the council? Anything from the administration?
Yeah, just an update on the Civic Center project. The bid documents went out yesterday, so we're on time, on schedule. We should be getting those documents back from the big 3 pre-qualified companies, I believe by February 7th. February 7th. All right, that was my update.
Anything else, anyone else? If not, we'll see each other at 10:30 at the museum.
So, I didn't want to put it in.